Hi, hello, namaste. A very warm welcome to Bio Classes. We have started that HGP, Human Genome Project. Very interesting project, very vast project that is. And regarding that project, in the first class we observed the goals of that Human Genome Project. Why the scientists they thought of doing that project regarding the sequencing the human genome. So that goals we observed in the previous class. In the last class we observed the methodologies. So on what basis, on what method basis they sequence that human genome. So there we observed two methods. One is EST, expressed sequence tags. So in that method, the only the part of DNA which is expressing, that means the active portion of the gene, that means the active part of the DNA, that much only sequenced, remaining part they ignored it. So in that sense, only the coding parts they analyzed, they sequenced. That is the first methodology. In the second one, sequential annotation. In that method, whether that is coding sequence or non-coding sequence, throughout the DNA they sequenced. They did not bother only the regarding the coding sequences. All the sequences together they sequenced. That means all the total DNA. So that is second method. But whatever the method it might be, so we are having some common steps: isolation of the DNA, purification of the DNA, fragmentation of the DNA, and taking the fragments and so inserted that fragment into the YAC or BAC, yeast artificial chromosome or a bacterial artificial chromosome. In the suitable host we need to insert them. Why? In order to get the cloning, in order to get many multiple copies. And after getting the copies, those fragments are attached with overlapping sequences, and by using the overlapping sequences, finally they are going to match, they are going to align all the fragments in one linear form. And actually here the sequence is done by using one DNA sequencer machine. So that DNA sequencer, it will work on the principle of which scientist? Yes, Francis Sanger. That scientist is Francis Sanger, and he is very well known for the sequencing of amino acids. So that we observed in the last class. Today in this class, let us focus the outcome of Human Genome Project. Of course, so many scientists from different countries for 13 years with the expenditure of $9 billion. So they made that total project. They sequenced the total human DNA. But thing is, of course they sequenced, but after the sequencing the total human DNA, what are the interesting points we got regarding the human DNA? What are the results we got? So in our lab also, after doing so all the experiments, so last we will give the tabular column, right? That tabular column indicates the major feature of the total experiment what we have done in the lab, 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever the experiment we have done. So the total experiment, it is condensed in that tabular column. So that is the main thing. Here after the Human Genome Project, regarding the human DNA, that means our DNA, what are the interesting points we got? What are the interesting things they observed? So let us consider that one. So that is salient features of human genome. Salient features of human genome, main observations in the human genome. What are the main observations, right? So the first major observation, and actually most of the times during the theory examination this concept will be asked for 5 marks most of the times in annual examination. Very interesting one and important one. So the first thing, they observed So this is the very interesting thing, the first one. So they observed means sequenced. They sequenced how many base pairs? How many base pairs? 3164.7 million base pairs. These many number of base pairs they sequenced. This is not the small number, it is a very, very biggest number. Million means 10 lakhs. 1 million means 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs into this number. So imagine how many base pairs they sequenced. And what is the cost of sequencing one base pair? Yes sir, $3. So in that cost they sequenced these many number of base pairs. So this is the first observation, first thing. And second observation, the second thing in the regarding the human genome. So in the human genome these many number of base pairs are present. So finally they are saying that one. And the next one, so here on average each gene, this I am talking about on average, each gene it contains or made up of 3000 base pairs. How many base pairs? 3000 base pairs. Let me tell you, genes are many number of genes are present, and gene is nothing but it is a piece of the DNA. Gene is nothing but it is a segment or piece of the DNA. DNA means it is nothing but a base pairs group, base pairs. Say for example, if this is the DNA means, imagine this much piece of the DNA is one gene. In this gene all of these are the base pairs, right? So the base pair group, the base pairs assembly, it forms one gene. Like that many genes are present, so many genes are present, and some genes are expressing and some genes are not expressing, transcriptionally active or may not be. And for all the genes, so these many number of base pairs are present. Then the question will be arised, on average one gene contains how many base pairs? Why? Because some genes are bigger in size, having so many number of base pairs. Some genes are smaller in size, having a less number of base pairs. Some genes are medium, some genes are largest, some genes are bigger. So like that. So some that means genes are not present in the same length, or genes cannot have the same number of base pairs. So because of that reason we have to take average. So on an average each gene contains 3000 base pairs. That means total number of base pairs divided by number of genes. If you do that one, we can get one approximate number, 3000 base pairs, right? So in that sense, okay, on an average each gene contains the 3000 base pairs. Okay, then next question will be arise, then which one is the biggest gene? If the gene is biggest gene is there, means how many base pairs may be present in that gene. So in that order, the biggest gene, so biggest gene in the sense number of base pairs that gene is having. So I am talking about that. So number of base pairs, number of base pairs. So the biggest gene which is having a more number of base pairs is dextropin gene. Yes, which gene? Dextropin gene. And this dextropin gene, it is having 2.4 million base pairs. MBPS, base pairs, million base pairs. How many base pairs? 2.4 million base pairs. That means 24 lakh base pairs. These lines, if you count, these lines are nothing but base pairs. These lines are 24 lakhs. Such kind of one just big gene, that is the name of that gene is dextrophin gene. And dextrophin gene means it is concerned with muscular dystrophy. So muscular dystrophy. So muscular dystrophy is one genetic disorder. That genetic disorder is caused because if there is any something disturbance in this gene. So it is the biggest gene present in human being, right? Now next question will be arised. Actually, how many genes they found? How many genes they identified? So for that one, they observed nearly 30,000 genes. How many genes? How many genes they sequenced? 30,000 genes. Out of 30,000 genes, but actually earlier estimation, that means before starting that human genome project, they were having an estimation. So according to that estimation, they estimated 80,000 to 1,40,000 genes. Yes, how many genes they estimated? Scientists, 80,000 to 1,40,000 genes. These many number of genes they estimated, but actually they sequenced of 30,000 genes. Filer on an average. So for these genes they divided 3,000 number of base pairs for every gene. And the next one. So here nearly 50% of genes, their function is unknown. See, this is a very interesting thing. Of course they sequence these many number of base, but these many number of genes. Among all these genes, about 50% of genes, that means how many genes they observed. So out of all the genes, 50% of genes function is still unknown. That means they are performing their work, but scientists are unable to find out what exactly the work is done by these 50% of genes. See, imagine, that means even though 13 years they worked, they found only 50% of genes function. Remaining 50% gene function is unknown still. Next one. And next very interesting thing, 99.9% of DNA sequence is same in all human. This is quite interesting. See here, what is the total length of the DNA that we are having? 2.2 meter DNA. So nearly 3 billion base pairs we are having, or this many number of base pairs we are having. Out of all the base pairs, 99.9% of DNA sequences, that means these base pairs order sequence, 99.9% that sequence is same in all human beings. So this is a very interesting one. That means in my body, in my cell, what the DNA sequence I am having, say for example, imagine this is the DNA starting end. Here A is present, adenine, next thymine, next guanine, next cytosine, AAGTC. So imagine this is the starting sequence, AAGTC. In another person DNA, the starting sequence is same. All the sequences are same. To what extent means 99.9% sequences are same. That means change is how much here? Just 0.1%. 0.1% DNA is changing. That sequence is changing. And because of that 0.1% DNA sequence change, we are all looking different. That means one human being cannot look like another human being. That means we cannot match one human being with another human being. unless they are that means siblings. So every human being is different. Why? Because 0.1% of DNA is changing, and that 0.1% change we will refer it as variation. Principles of inheritance and variation, genetics chapter, the title is there. Variation means change. Why the organisms are changing, why the characters are changing, why the one generation is changing with another generation, means in the DNA change is there. To what extent? 0.1%. So this is a fixed. Along with that one, if any mutations occur, if any other changes occur, means again changes will increase, goes on increasing. So that refers to the variation here. So this much of percent of DNA same. Not only here, in case of chimpanzee, if our DNA, if we compare with the chimpanzee DNA, 98% DNA is matching. How much? 98% DNA is matching. Just 2% DNA get varied here. And that 2% DNA variation, we are entirely different and chimpanzee is entirely different. The next one. Next, what they observed is, in this total DNA, less than 2% of DNA is transcriptionally active. How much? Less than 2%. See here, this is quite again interesting. Less than 2% of DNA is active. Active in the sense transcriptionally active. How much? Less than 2%. This 2% DNA we will refer it as a euchromatin, and remaining 98% of DNA we will refer it as a heterochromatin. Heterochromatin is a transcriptionally inactive. Why? Because that is more condensed. Euchromatin is loosely packed. So during that DNA packaging you have heard these terms. So 2% of DNA is loosely packed. So that is a transcriptionally active. So actually how we came to that one is by the Human Genome Project. So here less than 2% of DNA is transcriptionally active. Remaining most of the portion is transcriptionally inactive. And the next thing. Most of DNA is made up of repeated sequences. This is quite another interesting thing. Most of the DNA, it is having repeated sequences. Sequences are continuously repeated here. Let me tell you. ATTC, GATC, ATTC, AT. Okay. Now here downside, T, A, G, C, T, A, G, T, A, G, T, A. Okay. Now imagine I have one small piece of DNA. Small piece of DNA, not the total DNA, small piece of DNA. In this DNA, so let us imagine TAAG, TAAG, 4 sequences, TAAG. Just I am on example I am giving just right now. Now after TAAG, CTAG is there. Again TAAG, same sequence is repeated here. Same sequence, that order is repeated here. Next, after few sequence, again TAAG. Again after few sequence, TAAG, Like that, many sequences, many times sequences are repeated. then those sequences we will refer them as repeats. What we will call them as repeats. We will call these sequences as repeats. So just I told you 4 sequences, 4 base pairs, but sometimes it may be 100, sometimes it may be 1000. Such many 1000 base pairs sequence, that group is repeated many times. So such kind of DNA is a maximum, and thing is this DNA cannot work. It is actually inactive. This is inactive form of DNA. That means translationally it cannot work. So because of that reason it becomes a 98% of DNA, that is heterochromatin. And this DNA usually we will consider it as junk DNA. What will refer it as junk DNA. Junk food, I think you have heard the kurkure, chips. So all these fast food items you will refer them as junk food. Junk means which is not having that much of strength, which is not that much of useful. That food is not useful actually to our healthy, for our health. So that food is not here healthier one. Junk food, that is. In the same way, here also DNA is junk. Why? Because that DNA is inactive. So many times that sequence get repeated here. And here, so in that sense, so here is one interesting thing they have given. There are some sequences, how many times they have been repeated means 1.4 million times. In the DNA, one sequence is there. Not for this one. Okay, let us consider it for next point we can consider this one. So I think you have understood this one. Many times some sequences get repeated continuously, so we will refer it as just repeats. So such amount of DNA is more here, right? And the next one, next interesting point, there are 1.4 million locations in the DNA with SNPs. This is quite another interesting thing. 1.4 million locations, that means how much? 14 lakhs. 14 lakhs locations in the DNA, 14 lakhs places in the DNA with SNPs. So SNP means single nucleotide, polymorphism. Yes, what that SNP? Single nucleotide polymorphism. Let me tell you. Okay, let us consider here only. TAAG, TAAG. How many times repeated? 2 times. Like that, how many times should be repeated here? 1.4 million times. That means 1.4 million locations. That means 14 times, 14 lakhs times the same sequence should be repeated. So in that sequence, just one base pair is changing. Just one base pair is changing. Say for example, TAAG. Now the sequence is like this. Here TAACG is there here. TAACG. Next time next time. So when the same sequence repeated, next time TGAG. TGAG. The second letter changed. Next time when it is repeated, the first letter changed. That means just one base pair is changing. But here I have taken only 4 base pairs. So that may be 100 or 1000 base pairs length. So in a 1000 or 10,000 base pair length, just one every time when the same sequence is repeated, just one base pair is going to change. Then such kind of condition we will refer it as single nucleotide. Every time only one nucleotide is changing. Single nucleotide polymorphism. Poly means many. Such kind of many sequences we can see with just one base pair change. Polymorphism. So here this polymorphism we can give, so this condition will give many phenotypic traits in the human beings. Say for example, in case of a human beings color only, if we consider human beings color, all the human beings are not with the 2 colors. That means we cannot say human beings are just white or black. Some are light white in color, some are bright white in color, some are dull white in color, some are medium white in color, some are black in color, some are medium dark in color, some are darkest in color. That means ranges are there here in black and white. Just we are having so many ranges. That means one character is available in many forms. One character, what is the character? Skin color. One character is available in many forms. That means ranges we are having. So that condition we will refer it as a polymorphism. Why the condition is arising like that means just one gene, it is available in so many forms. Why? Because this kind of conditions here. Just I am giving one example, just right. So say for example, if you consider red, if I say red color means in red color we can see 100 different varieties. Dark red, medium red, pinkish red. So many different varieties we can observe. In the same way, in the one character we can observe the polymorphism. Why? Because in that gene, so single nucleotide get changed. Such kind of single nucleotide changing repeats or 1.4 million times it get repeated in the DNA. So that is very interesting thing. Next one. Okay, so here the same thing, that means this idea we can use in DNA fingerprinting. So this idea we can use in the DNA fingerprinting. So we can, once we can observe that condition there in a DNA fingerprinting time. So these are the salient features of Human Genome Project. And one more interesting thing, very interesting thing is that here largest chromosome. So in our cell the largest chromosome is first one, first chromosome. In the last class only I told you first chromosome means how they are going to give the name number means the chromosome which is present in bigger size, that chromosome they will refer it as a first chromosome. So that first chromosome, that is the largest one. How it is the largest means, so that chromosome is having 2968 genes. That means that largest chromosome is having 2968 genes. And the smallest chromosome, so smallest chromosome is Y chromosome. So last 2 sex chromosomes we are having X and Y. In case of female, XX. X chromosome is bigger than that Y chromosome. Y is a smaller chromosome actually. So number of genes in the Y chromosome is 231 genes. How many genes? 231 genes. So this is the smallest chromosome and this is the biggest chromosome having so many number of genes. So these are the things. And After that one, last one, we are having very interesting thing. Actually applications are more, but here if you want to see the briefly the applications of Human Genome Project. Of course, so they made the study on human genome, that Human Genome Project. But what are the applications? So for any application, if the applications are there, means then only we will proceed. If no application, means there is no need of spending that much of time and energy along with so many scientists. So it is having a lot and lot of applications. So thing is, today if our medical field or medical related any other industrial fields, if they have grown to certain extent, means that is majorly because of Human Genome Project. If the death rate has been a decrease nowadays, and if we are having many chances to survive a person even all in all the odd condition, means that is majorly because of Human Genome Project. We have understood human genome well. Why? Because that is master molecule. So here few of the applications if you want to consider. The first thing, curing of genetic disorders. This is one major application. We can cure which not diseases, disorders. Which disorders? Genetic disorders, by birth disorders. By birth, if the person is having, if the baby is going to have any disorder, means those disorders can be cured by with the help of this Human Genome Project. That means with the knowledge of human genome. Just I told you, gene therapy. That means cutting and removing of fault gene and inserting active gene. So if you want to remove that fault gene and inserting active gene, means first we should come to know what exactly that gene is, what is the sequence of that gene, then only we can do that one. So if you want to know that sequence of any gene, means we should have the Human Genome Project. So that means by genetic that means in the genetic engineering, by gene therapy we can cure the genetic disorder. So in the next chapter you will come to know what exactly that gene therapy is. In biotechnology chapter you will come to know, right? And one more thing, by the Human Genome Project, so we can understand chemistry of life. What we can understand? The chemistry of life. What actually that chemistry of life? See here, if I consider a cell, so in the cell it is having the cytoplasm and inside it is having the nucleoplasm. So cytoplasm, nucleoplasm, it is having thousands together, millions together chemicals, biomolecules. So many chemicals are present here right now, right? And those chemicals are continuously formed, are continuously broken down. So for example, 50 biomolecules are originated right now, means in another place 50 biomolecules, 50 other biomolecules can be broken down. That means metabolism process is occurring continuously. What actually that metabolism is? All chemical reactions occurring in the cell. Metabolism. That metabolism is having two kinds, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism, breaking reactions. Anabolism, joining reactions. That means some biomolecules are continuously joined and form another new biomolecule, or in another way that biomolecule can be broken down into two simpler biomolecules. Such kind of reactions will occur continuously. Then the question will be arised, from where all these biomolecules are coming into the cell? Different biomolecules. That means in first PU you studied that plant physiology, right? In the plant physiology we observed the Calvin cycle, Krebs cycle. That means reactions related to photosynthesis, reaction related to the respiration. We observed so many things. So in those reactions, for every step we used to get the acid names, different compounds, sugar names we used to get. The question will be arised, inside the cell how those all biomolecules are coming. That means those biomolecules, one time they were protein, that protein produced from the polypeptide chain, that polypeptide chain produced from the 3 RNAs, rRNA, mRNA, tRNA, and those RNAs produced from the gene, and that gene present in the DNA. Again it comes to the Human Genome Project. That means if you understand the total human genome, that means we can understand all the genes. If you understand all the genes, means we can understand the product of genes. Once if you understand the product of gene, means we can understand all the biomolecules together. If you understand all the biomolecules in the cell together, means then we can easily understand the metabolism of the cell. Once if you understand the metabolism of cell, means that indicates we can understand the chemistry of life. Once if you are having the proper knowledge of the chemistry of life, means that means we are the master of life. We are the masters of life. That means to some extent, to some possibilities, we can slightly shift the life. Why? Because we know everything related to the life, the biomolecules, related to the biomolecules, related to the metabolism we can understand. That means in one tissue or in one organ, all the cells are producing a particular proteins. In one tissue or in one particular organ, how many cells are there? All the cells are producing particular protein or particular enzyme or particular hormone. Why? Because in those cells particular genes are expressing. So that we can understand by Human Genome Project. That means, so the metabolism are the kind of reactions occurring inside the cell at particular locations inside the body, we can understand with the help of Human Genome Project. That is a very interesting application. Actually that is a vast application, but right now if I am saying like that, means we cannot understand it properly. But keep one thing in our mind, to understand the chemistry of life, we must be having the knowledge of Human Genome Project applications, right? So till now what we understood, the salient features of human genome, the major observations. So the last next one is applications of Human Genome Project. Of course many applications are there, these are the major applications, right? Now once in the beginning class itself I told you, this chapter is just like volatile. Once if you read the chapter, means once if you observe the concept, means so I think you can understand a little bit. But after 2 or 3 days, if you don't, unless if you are reading, means after 2 or 3 days, so it seems to be volatile. You will not be having anything in your mind. So everything, all the concepts together, they make on puzzle. So because of that reason, along with the class, even after completion of the class, once take the NCERT book. So what points I have explained, so all the points are there in NCERT book. Once you read the NCERT book, and if you are having any doubts related to this concept or the previous concepts, so once message me. Yes, thank you.